ADHD and autism that everybody just missed. At this point, I'm just begging y'all to put the DSM-5 down.
I have been screaming from the mountaintops since it was DSM-3R. The Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders is not for the people. Every single thing, y'all, that has worked against us. Some of you are starting to wake up, but every single thing that has worked against us, most people are not awakened to. Anytime you are willing to continue to just accept diagnoses without investigating what that crap is behind, then that's a mass consciousness. They have marketed people to death, literally. I was in school getting my psychology degree when I came across temperaments, understanding who we are naturally, that spark of God that each of us have. And I was sitting waiting patiently for us to get to those classes because I was excited to learn all the stuff, all the juiciness, all the good stuff, all of the stats classes and all the stuff that went into the Bible of psychology. Imagine my surprise and pissacity when I figured out they had completely omitted the origin of psychology. Yeah, you see, because the Rockefellers kicked out the origin of medicine, which is naturopathy. They kicked out the origin of psychology, which has everything to do with who you are naturally and how you process all information, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, all of that stuff, even what you do, all feeds back to how you are naturally designed. Which is why if you don't understand your own, you're not going to understand anybody else around you. And psychology is trying to catch up right now, but I'm telling you, for the most part, they are still looking, because it's to their advantage, to diagnose you and medicate you. And then to keep you coming back every week or every month to come and sit and go through talk therapy that keeps you in a damn loop. Listen, I have been arguing with, in fact, I've stopped arguing with them, but since early 1990s, I've been fighting with the world of psychology and those who have been indoctrinated in it. I ain't arguing with none of y'all. Y'all can come now. I ain't arguing with you because I know the truth. The truth has always been exactly what I teach it as. And that is, until you understand who you are, your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, which are very specific to you, and then start to understand how other environmental influences have influenced the core of who you are, then you will continue to seek the indoctrinated for what they can give to you and make you feel better about. And I don't doubt, listen, I know that the medications have made you feel better because it has validated what you were experiencing. But unless and until you come to a point that you can specifically roll off who you are naturally, not what you do, because they look at what you do and back into a diagnosis rather than getting to know who you are in order to describe what you do. See, you can always alter what you do when you understand who you are. Oh, but it is not to their advantage for that to happen. So listen, this is not a blame game because everybody's always doing the absolute best they know. I think we really need to just wipe clean slates with everybody for every damn thing. Because in our world today, especially in the US and the UK, it is obvious that we have been played, and Canada, we have all been played when it comes to many of our pillars through, hell, if I start naming, then hell, this will be banned. So we won't do that. But a lot of truths have come out, okay? It's time to wipe yourself a clean slate. It's time to say, okay, I did what I knew, but now I'm willing to expand my mind, learn what I need to learn so that I am not continuing to pass on to my children the foolery that I did not know, so that I can do better for myself. If you still think that taking and popping there is the best thing for you, then I ain't talking to you. I mean, there's no convincing you. And I'm not in the convincing and converting business. I left church 20 years ago because that's just not where I am. I am talking to those who are in the space of expansion, and we are not all in the same space at the same time. That's okay. But listen, anybody who goes against mass consciousness has been canceled. I've been canceled for hell since the early 1990s when I first decided I'm going to find out everything I can find out on temperaments, the origin of psychology, and I'm carving my own way. It's exactly what I did, and created 2 products teaching people about who they are, their own individuality. And then all of the other modalities that feed into that, so that you are your own expert. You don't have to look to anybody to teach you anything about who you are. When you understand it about you, then you understand all of the different things that feed into your individuality. And you not only understand it about the next person, you can have different levels of compassion for that which you do not understand. You don't have to understand somebody else's makeup or why somebody else is doing what they do in order to be able to give them grace while they're doing it. It is a natural, compassionate mechanism that is built in. Listen, I've been helping families get along for a very long time using the origin of psychology. And I am telling you, when they deviated from looking at who you are naturally to looking at what you do, then they created an entire industry and indoctrinated not just the people who go to school for it. Hell, and I went to school for it and decided, no, that's not the path I'm taking. And I've got so many friends who have now gone through those processes with a whole lot of letters behind their names and say, no, that's not the way. They're not the only ones. Dr. Wayne Dyer, who was one of my mentors, did the exact same thing, as well as many others, because they recognize that though they got the credentials, that is not the path. That is not the way. There is nobody who is more expert on you than you. And it's not supposed to be. But you have to understand the things that feed into individuality in order to be your own expert. Listen, when your mindset is locked in on a diagnosis, there is no freedom for you, because you have owned that thing, and anything you own owns you. Anything you allow yourself to be governed by governs you. So if there is a diagnosis in the DSM, no matter the which number, or when you accepted it, if you accept a label, you are going to be governed by it. Honey, that's a universal principle. Okay? Traumas are real, but they don't have to be lifelong. And the thing about this TickTock app, I mean, it's a wonderful app. And it is also something that will keep you bound by the same shit. Their algorithm does what it does, honey. And if you've got a particular belief, then it just keeps bringing you more and more of that belief you've locked into. It is going to be your, not just job, but your duty to free yourself. The only way you can do that is to get some new information. We came here to learn and grow, not to come here get stuck in shit. Again, I've been screaming the same thing since the early 1990s and have been teaching it for that long as well. There is freedom, not just from the stuff that binds you, but also from the labels that you have been conditioned are you. You are not a label. And no matter what label you've owned, you can release. No matter how bad your relationships are, they can get better. And that is why I do what I do. But hey, listen, it's your life. Choose it. Just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it as long as you can breathe and learn. Oh, honey, it can get better.